Today, we're going to the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. This is a place where trails lead nowhere, where strange footsteps echo your own, and where the forest seems all too aware of who is passing through it. Before we begin this descent into darkness, hit the subscribe button. Like this video if you're ready for a long night, and tell us in the comments, which trail would you never dare to walk alone? Your support is what makes these stories possible. Get ready. We're beginning. I worked in technical support for a pharmaceutical company in Roanoke for about 6 years. The job was decent, the pay was good, but at 34, I felt like I was literally dissolving into the fluorescent lights and cubicle walls of the office. My therapist suggested hiking to help manage my anxiety. He said nature would help clear my head. I started with short hikes on weekends. Nothing serious, just sections of the Appalachian Trail near the city. This happened at the end of September, about 3 years ago. I chose a new route off Highway 311. It was a Thursday, and I took the day off because the weather forecast was perfect, and the trails are usually empty on weekdays. I wanted solitude. The first few hours were exactly what I needed. Cool air, the smell of the earth, and silence. Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I stopped to have lunch in a clearing where someone had built a small pyramid of stones, a cairn. I sat on a flat rock, ate a turkey sandwich, and for the first time in months, I felt truly good. That's when I noticed that my phone had no signal. Expected, but I checked it out of habit. And then I saw a notification, a text message that had somehow gotten through. The timestamp was 2 minutes ago. The sender was my own number. The text read, "Stop eating." I stared blankly at the screen for about 30 seconds. A glitch? Someone's joke? But the sent folder was empty. I convinced myself it was a cell tower malfunction. My hands were trembling slightly as I packed my things, but I decided to continue on my way. The trail climbed steeply upwards. I focused on my breathing and the rhythm of my steps. The phone vibrated again. "Don't go up, come back right now." There was still no signal, not a single bar. I took a screenshot, as if that could prove the reality of what was happening. My heart was pounding. I looked around, expecting to see another hiker playing a prank on me, but there were only trees. Messages came every 5 minutes. "Please stop. You need to leave. It sees you." And the last one, which sent a chill down my spine. "I'm sorry." Why was I apologizing to myself? I walked faster. As I approached the ridge, the trees thinned out, and the sky became visible. And then I heard my own voice. Not from the phone, from around the bend in the trail ahead. It was me. I was discussing a work project, deadlines. It was my conversation with my manager from 3 days ago, word for word. The same pauses, the same laughter at the joke about the server rack. The voice came from about 30 yards away, from around a bend in the path. Then it cut off mid-sentence, and another voice began. Also mine, but younger. I recognized it. It was an old voicemail message I'd left for my mother on her birthday many years ago. I was singing quote _0 in that embarrassed way I usually do. But something was wrong. The tone wavered. The words were stretched out too much. I turned around and walked back. The voice followed me. It didn't get closer, but it didn't get further away either. It changed. Me at different ages, fragments of different phone calls, conversations from months and years ago. And then they started saying things I had never said, sentences about places I hadn't been, names I didn't know. One of the voices said, quote one, "That's when I ran." I don't remember the descent clearly. I fell and scraped my palm. The voices faded somewhere along the way. When I reached the parking lot, there was another car there, an old sedan. A guy in his 20s was sitting on the hood, looking at his phone. When he saw me, he jumped up. I just shook my head and walked to my car. He shouted after me, quote one, "At home, I checked my phone. 43 messages from myself. The last one, quote two. I did a factory reset on my phone the next day. Since then, I haven't been on that trail or any others. Sometimes late at night, I still get messages from my own number. They're empty. Just empty messages at 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't reply. I'm afraid to imagine what would happen if I did. In April, I turned 60. My daughter bought me a set of expensive trekking poles. She's always been worried about my health since my wife died. I had retired, I taught English at a school, and I enjoyed the solitude. I usually hiked with a group from the community center on Tuesdays. But on Saturdays, I went out alone. I was slow, but careful. In early November of last year, I set out on a 10-mile trail near Perrysburg. It was overcast and cold. About 3 miles in, I saw a backpack. A blue North Face, almost new. I called out, "Is anyone around? Did you forget your backpack?" Silence. I looked inside, hoping to find an ID. There was only one thing, a black and white speckled school notebook. On the first page, in neat handwriting, it said, "If you are reading this, I didn't make it. Please give this to the Rangers. My name is Sarah Whitmore. I started this trail on October 28th. My blood ran cold. That was 9 days ago." I flipped through the notebook. At first, there were ordinary entries, the weather, shelters, people. But on the 4th day, the tone changed. She wrote about footsteps behind her that stopped when she did, about things in her backpack that someone had moved, about seeing a person in the woods wearing her jacket and her hat. The last entry dated November 2nd. "I don't think I'm alone in this tent. I hear breathing that isn't mine. Please tell my family I love them. Don't look for me. It already looks like me." I stood there with the notebook in my hands, and a burning desire to leave immediately overwhelmed me. I took pictures of the pages with my phone and put the notebook back. When I turned around, a woman was standing on the path about 40 feet away, young, wearing a blue jacket and a gray hat. Her face was completely blank. "Are you Sarah?" My voice trembled. She didn't answer. She tilted her head as if trying to remember how people move. And then she smiled. The smile was too wide, frozen. She started to move, not walking, but jerking forward in unnatural lurches, as if her knees were bending incorrectly. I backed away quickly. I looked back. She was closer. Despite her jerky gait, she was covering the distance faster than seemed possible. I ran. After a quarter of a mile, I stopped, breathless. She was 10 feet away. I hadn't heard her footsteps, hadn't heard her breathing. Her smile hadn't changed. She said, quote, 0, but her voice was strange, as if the words had been played backward and then forward again. I pressed the SOS button on my satellite beacon. She took a step closer. Quote 1. I replied that I had left it back there. She said, quote 2. After that, she simply turned around and walked into the woods with a normal gait. A helicopter arrived and the rescuers came. They found the backpack and the notebook. One of the rangers, after hearing my description of the woman, turned pale and showed me a photo on his phone. Quote 3. It was Sarah Whitmore. He said they had found her body 2 days ago, 8 miles north of here. According to the report, she had been dead for at least 72 hours at the time of discovery. I don't go hiking alone anymore. I sold those trekking poles on eBay. My daughter thinks I've just lost interest. Let her think that. Sometimes I think about that phrase. It already looks like me. Was that woman what Sarah was running from, or what caught her? Before we move on to the third story, please like and subscribe. Tell me, have you ever felt like you were being watched even though there was no one around? Have you ever heard your own voice where it shouldn't be? Your support helps me continue my research and find these testimonies. I'm a medical illustrator. My life is anatomical diagrams, hours at the computer, and sketching cadavers. My wife, Rachel, a physical therapist, has always been the life of the party and an outdoor enthusiast. For years, she tried to get me to go hiking. 2 years ago, I finally gave in. We chose an easy trail near Hot Springs. We were heading to a shelter, an open wooden structure with a sleeping platform. The weather was perfect. Rachel was so happy that I had finally gone with her. By 10 p.m., we were already in our sleeping bags. I woke up to find Rachel sitting up. She was frozen, staring into the darkness in front of the shelter. Quote, 0, I whispered. She didn't move. When I touched her shoulder, she turned. Her eyes were wide open. There's someone standing there at the edge of the shelter, she said in a flat, emotionless voice. I turned on my headlamp. No one, just trees and shadows. They moved back when you turned on the light, she stated. I convinced her it was a dream. 2 hours later, I woke up again. Her sleeping bag was empty. I rushed outside, calling her name. Her voice answered from the path. I'm here. She was standing 20 feet away in her sleepwear, barefoot. I'm talking to them. They want to show me something. She walked straight into the thicket. I ran after her, grabbing her arms, but she didn't react. Branches whipped her face, but she didn't even blink. She moved quickly in a straight line. They're all around us. They want you to see too, she said. Rachel pointed at something behind me. That one looks like you. I turned around, only undergrowth and a fallen log. We came out into a small clearing. Rachel began to slowly spin in place. I begged her to come back. She looked at me. For a second, I thought she had come to her senses. But she said, they want to know if you'll stay here with me. We could be very happy here. underground. She smiled too serenely. I see things, Daniel. Beautiful things. Real things. She was unnaturally strong when I tried to lead her away. The whole way back, she whispered about flowers that have no names and sounds that happen in silence. She sounded like she was high. In the morning, she remembered nothing. We left. Examinations, brain scans. The doctors found nothing, but Rachel had changed. She became obsessed with that trail. She drew strange figures from shadows and branches, talked about holes in the ground leading to rooms full of whispers. 6 months later, she disappeared. She left a note. I'm sorry. I need to go back. I saw something real and I can't live without understanding it. Her car was found at the entrance to the trail. She herself was never found. A month ago, I received a postcard. No return address. A photo of the Appalachian Trail. On the back, in her handwriting, I'm still here. They are wonderful. Don't worry about me, but don't come looking. I burned it. I don't know what else to do with such information. My name is Beth, and I'm a truck driver with 16 years of experience. I'm used to being alone. 3 years ago, I decided to take my first real vacation in a long time and went to the Appalachian Trail in Tennessee. On the second day of my hike, I spent the night alone in a shelter. Around midnight, I was awakened by voices. A young couple, a boy and a girl, came in to warm up. We chatted a little and they lay down at the other end of the platform. When I woke up in the morning, they were gone. No bags, no traces. Strange, because they couldn't have packed up so silently. An hour later on the trail, I found a headlamp that was still on. Another hour later, I found a water bottle and a sleeping bag in its case. The things were scattered as if someone had thrown them away in a panic. At a fork in the trail, I saw an arrow made of stones pointing to a side, overgrown path. A backpack was lying there. I approached him, and then someone spoke. It was a woman. She looked at me with a sad smile. You came here to bleed, and this place loves blood. It remembers it, she said. She told me she was looking for her daughter, who had run away from home in 1982. She searched and searched until she realized she couldn't remember how to leave. The path just loops, the same sections over and over again, the same people, the same grief. By the third day, you'll start to notice. The same trees repeat themselves, the same stones, the same birds. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and then you're stuck in an eternal search. I started packing my things in terror. She looked at me. The path takes your memory piece by piece, until all you remember is the process of walking and searching. I ran away from there in the darkness. In the parking lot, I saw her again. She was standing at the edge of the forest, simply watching me drive away. At home, I discovered that a photograph of my brother was missing from my backpack pocket. I searched everywhere. Nothing. Later, I called the Park Service and inquired about people who had gone missing in 1982. A ranger called back 2 days later. Eleanor Voss, missing since October 1982, while searching for her daughter. Her car was found in the parking lot near the trail. When I opened the photo from her driver's license that they sent me, my hands trembled. It was her, the same woman from the shelter. I threw away all my gear. Sometimes at night I think about what she said, about the loop, about memory. I still don't have a photo of my brother, and sometimes I start to doubt. Did he really die? Or is that just what I remember? The trail takes away memories piece by piece. I think about it more often than I should. If these reports have alarmed you, please support the channel, like and subscribe. Tell us in the comments, have you ever had the feeling that you were seeing something you shouldn't understand? Remember, the path remembers everything, even what we try to forget.